Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Media Pulse, the show where we help you make sense of Thai politics.
First of all, we would like to offer our condolences and sympathy to victims of the recent flooding in Southern Thailand, especially to families who lost their loved ones in the country's most devastating floodings in decades.
Exactly. The floods claim hundreds of lives. Many have lost their belongings and their homes and would probably take a lot of time for them to recover. Unfortunately, the issue of how the government handled the flood crisis has been politicized to a great extent. And,
we believe that it's so because the next general election just is around the corner.
Exactly.
So everything that happens at this moment will certainly be politicized.
Yeah, after the severe flood swept across 8 provinces in the southern part of Thailand, the government rushed to implement its response plan, actually.
Prime Minister Anutin made at least 5 trips to Thepchai in the matter of 1 week.
Yes.
But not all the visits turned out to be positive for him.
No.
Because in one of the visits, he was seen sitting in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
Instead of wading through the flood water, sharing the misery with the people. That picture certainly triggered a lot of anger among some locals and his critics.
The guy actually said, "You're the Prime Minister, why don't you come off the truck and walk on the street?" Anutin actually did apologize to the public for the shortcomings in the government's handling of the floods. But what exactly did the government do? The cause so much criticism. We're just going to have a look at one example, actually. So the Prime Minister assigned more than 10 deputy Prime Minister and ministers to be in charge of a targeted relief efforts. That's what he called. So each one is responsible for each province.
This is something unprecedented. The government tried to explain that the way that things work was designed to speed things up, to speed up the work. That's what in Kun Anutin's words, and to reduce redundancy. And the opposition wasted no time insisting on this issue to criticize the government for the lack of planning, the lack of coordinated attempts to really deal with the problem down south. One of the major media outlets, Than Sathekit, quoted a political scientist as questioning whether the practice is designed to be a political stage for cabinet members to campaign rather than to address the issue.
Leading up to the election, right?
At hand.
Yeah, and adding a minister for each province meant that there are 2 lines of command actually. So one from the provincial governor, who's directly responsible for the province anyway, and then they add another layer from the minister who's assigned to the province, so potentially causing redundant paperwork, procedures, and a lot of resource allocations, I guess.
No, but the government, of course, came out in strong defense of the practice, saying that such criticism is something normal and we can take it, but reaffirmed that assigning cabinet members to manage emergency responses for each of the provinces was intended to shorten reporting time and speed up budgeting. It's understandable why people have a lot of questions about this kind of a practice, because the South promises to be a hotly contested region in the upcoming general election.
Exactly.
So everything now is being seen in the context of rivalry amongst some of the major political parties, including Phumchai Thai Party, the core of the current coalition government.
I guess there are 2 sides to it. If you're in favor of the government, then you can say that there's a detailed political flood management effort which is aimed at shortening the time it takes. Or if you're criticizing the government, then they would say it's a complex political maneuver as the country ages closer to the general elections. And, in addition to this, the Emergency Operations Center, which was set up by Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul, has also declared that the electricity, communications, meaning telephone and internet signals, and water services in Thepchai will be restored within 14 days. And he said that the cleanup will be done in 7 days.
No, but the prospect of completing all the tasks within the timeline set by the government seems doubtful for many, especially among the opposition MPs. Kun Nattapong Ring Panyawut, the leader of the People's Party, the main opposition party, said in an interview in Hat Yai, he visited Hat Yai quite quickly. He said that the tap water in the area was not running, which meant that residents could not clean their homes. But things have been settled since then.
Since then, So, when asked how long he thinks it would take for Hat Yai to be restored, Nattapong said that it is unlikely to meet the timeline set by the government. That's what he said.
All right. Kun Julaphan Amamvivat, the leader of Thepchai party, another opposition party, also wasted no time in trying to project the image that the party certainly cares for the South, which is not its stronghold.
No.
Right? So Kun Julaphan told a press conference that the parties had a list of suggestions for the government to act on how to handle the crisis. But as far as the opposition is concerned, Julaphan confirmed that the party is now having second thought about going through with its threat to file a no confidence motion against the government, because the timing may not be right. The country is in the middle of a crisis, so filing a no confidence motion against the government at this juncture may be seen in a very negative light.
Yeah, it's true. He said the government should first focus on resolving the flood crisis, and then he said we can discuss political matters afterwards. However, he didn't rule out the possibility of a no confidence motion, because he said he made clear that the issues related to government management and the flood crisis will certainly be part of the opposition's content when they eventually proceed with a no confidence debate. And meanwhile, there's another party, the United Thai Nation Party. They called on the government to urgently review the criteria for distributing financial assistance and the 2025 flood relief measures, arguing that they are unfair and do not reflect the actual damage suffered by the affected community. So everybody has something to say about the floods and how the government's doing to handle it.
In the midst of the crisis, the Democrat Party, under the leadership of former Prime Minister Thepchai seems to be reaping the windfall from the people's discontentment with the way that the government handles the crisis. According to an opinion poll by the National Institute for Development Administration, NIDA, people in the South are not too happy with their politicians who are currently in power. From a survey of 2,000 people in the second and third weeks of November, over 30% said they cannot decide who they would want as a country's prime minister. But normally the incumbent prime minister would be the first choice, right? But not this time around.
No.
Despite all the good work that Anutin thinks he has done for the South in dealing with the crisis, right?
He's not the first, and he doesn't even rank second.
And 25% said they prefer Abhisit Vejjajiva, the leader of the Democrat Party, to be the next prime minister. That's quite interesting, because with Abhisit, don't forget that he just re-emerged from the hiatus, political hiatus for quite some time, right? But now, seen from the perspective of people in the South, in the midst of the flood crisis, he is the number one choice.
Yes, and the third choice, with only 15.4% said that they would choose the incumbent Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul. So he's third rank from the survey of the people in the South. But remember, the Democrats has always been popular in the southern region.
As we just mentioned earlier, that the South will certainly be a hotly contested region in the next elections. The Democrats will do everything to make sure that they can defend their stronghold there.
Yeah, they have to. Now, a deputy prime minister, Sopon Saram, he said that the government is doing its best and is not worried about public sentiment or polls at the moment. That was last week. And he declared that nothing can be perfect in a situation like this. But whether or not the government cares about the survey is a different story, because at the core of Thai politics, the ability to bargain is still of great importance, which explains why we are seeing more MPs who will potentially switch parties this week.
There is no doubt that the flooding in southern Thailand is the biggest stories of the week and
Yes.
most likely the coming week. But once the flooding in the region is pushed into the background, you can be sure that politics will come back to dominate the headlines once again. And in the spotlight will certainly be the continuing realignment of politicians of various parties. That I'm talking about party switching.
Yeah, in fact, before the floods, party switching by a number of MPs were already making headlines, right? There was nothing surprising about that kind of development. And the deadline promised by Prime Minister Anutin to dissolve the House is drawing near as well. But from this point on, the so-called political transfer window will be in full swing.
We're talking about transfer window. In sports, a transfer window is a fixed period during which players can switch teams. In Thai politics, transfer window is the time for politicians to move to what they see as a greener pasture in anticipation of an upcoming election. So this time around, it's no difference.
Politics is a team sport, it seems. Anyway, again, we have to emphasize that there is nothing unusual about that. Party defections have been a common feature in Thai politics. But make no mistake, their motivations have little to do with ideologies and policy differences.
That's why political scientists have no hesitation to say that the party defections we are witnessing now represent another aspect of the Thai style old school politics, which places political expediency above everything else. So in short, these so-called party hopping politicians would choose to align themselves with political parties that stand the best chance of winning elections or ascending to power.
According to political observers, Phumjai Thai party of Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul is undeniably the biggest magnet attracting politicians of all stripes. Now, Anutin has promised to dissolve the House by the end of January next year. A snap election is required within 60 days, so that should take place around end of March. And to be eligible to run in an election, a candidate must have been affiliated with a political party for no less than 30 days. So there will be ample of time for a transfer window before the country goes to the poll.
So what we will see from this point on will be a flurry of party defections ahead of the election. And in the eyes of these would-be defectors, there is certainly no pasture that is cleaner than that of Phumjai Thai party, the core of the coalition government led by Kun Anutin Chanvirakul, the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
But in fact, there are already a lot of early birds. Early birds catch the worm, right?
Yeah.
A number of prominent politicians and politically influential families known as Ban Jai. We have talked about Ban Jai quite a lot recently, right? These people have already made known their intention to join Phumjai Thai party. Even the current leader of Chat Thai Patana party, Kun Varavut Sirapa Acha, has openly declared his allegiance with Phumjai Thai. Varavut is a former cabinet member and the son of late former Prime Minister Banhan Sirapa Acha.
This one really surprised me,
Yeah.
though. He says he's bringing along all the 10 current MPs of Chat Thai Patana Party to run under the banner in Phumjai Thai in the next election. So he said allying with a major party like Phumjai Thai would offer him a better chance to serve the country. That's his explanation. Chat Thai Patana is known as a political legacy of the Silapa Acha family, which once played a leading role in Thai politics. The party, however, has been in decline since Banhan's demise and is projected to do even more poorly in the next election.
Though the Banhan family is a good example of the role of so-called Banjai in politics, especially in rural areas, in
Suphanburi.
rural constituency.
Yeah.
The party has been dominating constituency in Suphanburi, one of the central provinces for decades now. So we still cannot anticipate what kind of ramification that Kun Warawut's defection would cause to the party.
Exactly. What's going to happen to the party if all the MPs are gone? The party will still be there.
The funny thing is that he said the party is still in existence and it's most likely that his elder sister will take over as leader.
Right.
But he himself will be with Phum Chai Thai party.
Okay, interesting. Now, Phum Chai Thai party now has 64 MPs under its banner, and very unlikely that any of them would defect. So the party's ambition to sweep as many as 150 seats in the next elections, that would be enough to put it in a position to dictate the shape of the post-election government.
What is important is that Kun Anutin, the Prime Minister, has made no secret of his ambition to return as Prime Minister again after the next elections. And political observers believe that as the core of the coalition government, which controls on the state mechanisms and has a growing roster of would-be high-profile election candidates, his ambition is not that far-fetched.
And even the Kun Plum family, the Banyai of Chonburi province, also is not missing the boat. The family has been playing a domineering role in the eastern province, where it has been having a virtual monopoly for local politics for decades. Now, the family has formally allied itself with Phum Chai Thai party as well.
The Pheu Thai party, the core of the previous Patchimanon coalition government, is also reported to be suffering from political hemorrhage, with several prominent MPs already having one foot in the door of the Phum Chai Thai party, meaning that physically they're still with Pheu Thai party, but they have one foot in the door of Phum Chai Thai party, waiting for the right time to switch camps, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the two parties, Pheu Thai and Phum Chai Thai party, are expected to be fighting neck and neck in the next election. So what is Pheu Thai's loss will be Phum Chai Thai's gain.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. The devastating flooding in the south is only the latest of a series of troubles converging on the Anutin government, which is only 2 months old. The minority government has yet to get the country out of its economic decline, while at the same time is still embroiled in the border conflict with Cambodia, and while still it is facing the possibility of a censure motion from the opposition.
No, but despite all these difficulties, Kun Anutin, the Prime Minister, still try hard to show some sense of humor. No, why delivering the guidelines on budgetary planning for the next fiscal year to high-ranking bureaucrats from major government agencies early this week, Anutin said he wished he had adopted the family name of one of Thailand's former prime ministers. This is quite funny. He was apparently, he didn't mention name, first name anyway. He was apparently referring to Chun Lik Pai, who served as prime minister twice in late 90s and early 20s. And as you already know, that most Thai family names carry meanings, right? In former Prime Minister Chuan's case, his family name, Lik Pai, literally means avoiding calamities.
Yeah, he said, I would want Lik Pai as my family name. As it is, I am encountering all kinds of calamities, so he wants to avoid calamities. That's why he was mentioning the name.
Now, what Anutin was trying to suggest was that only if he had Lik Pai as his family name, he might not have to endure all the difficulties his government is facing now.
You know what? Remember when he took office and he moved into his actual office, he brought in a lot of sacred optics. He might need to switch them around, redecorate the office just a little bit to make it more auspicious.
No, but he did go on in his speech. He did list 4 catastrophes or challenges that his government was facing: economic problems, security threat, social problems, and natural disasters. No, but according to language experts, Anutin shouldn't be yearning for a new family name, as his own in itself is already good enough, Chan Virakun, right? And these language experts point out that his family name, Chan Virakun, already augurs well enough Chanvilagun literally means family of expertise and bravery.
So what can we say is that instead of wanting to avoid all the calamities this government is facing, Anutin, as someone from the family of expertise and bravery, as his family name means, should instead feel proud in standing up to them, all the said calamities, and not avoiding them.
So what we can say is that Likpai, or avoiding calamities, is definitely a no-no for a leader whose leadership is being put to the test.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, but anyway, so we are going to end our program there with a little bit of a Thai lesson, I guess, a lesson in Thai surnames. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching this week. We have you have a good weekend.
Thank you.